Hi friends, thanks for joining me. It's Morag here, and today I have the incredible June kits to play with. And this month's kit is based on travel, which is my favourite subject, by the way. And I love the colours in this month's kit. There were lots of blues, orange and green, so it makes a real refreshing change from your regular kits. And there are also extras in the shop that you can buy to complement your kit. So I'll be working with a few of these, including this month's colour kit. This month's colour kit had a 12-inch stencil, a sunburst stencil, which is always really handy. And I actually did stencil my page and realised that the film wasn't rolling. So I'm just doing it again to demonstrate what I did. So I've positioned my stencil at one end of my cardstock, and I'm using Prized Ribbon Distress Oxide ink just to blend through that stencil. Now I'm using the cardstock. There's a pale blue cardstock in this month's cardstock kit even. But it kind of looks a bit patchy on screen. In real life it does look a lot more even. But I think actually in the end I'm going to distress it anyway, so that'll be less noticeable. So I added a little bit of water there just to do the resist technique, and that will just add a few or take away some of the ink once it's dried. Now I love this background paper, the one with the city map and the cityscape underneath, and I'm going to have that positioned as you can see there, and then I'm going to build up a cityscape with the dies, as you'll see shortly. But before I stick down, I have it in my mind to add a little stitching detail. Now this is my kind of stitching because it takes just a few minutes, and I love kind of back stitching and the detail that you get from that on a layout that's kind of time consuming, whereas doing it this way actually just takes just a few minutes. So you can see that I used a ruler just to go pierce some holes through the sunburst. And I'm just going to use some pearl thread, which is like embroidery floss, and it's wound together, so there's no fiddling around with individual threads that always seem to come apart in my case. And look how quick this is. Even though the film is speeded up, it really took no time at all. I think the longest part is actually threading the needle. Oh dear. So I'm just making individual threads there, or stitches. And then for this technique I've just tried to make sure they were a bit uneven in length, so that some were longer than others. I've done 2 on some and 1 on others, with just a little gap in between. Depending on the size of the sun rays, you could have more or less as you feel the need. So it is a nice little bit of extra detail, I think, before sticking down my pattern paper. So in case you haven't met me before, I do love to travel. I've always really liked to travel, always had the travel bug. But now my kids are older, that is a bit more of a possibility for sure. And I've obviously passed that on to my daughters, and my daughter and my son, who also love to travel. So it's definitely a family affair now, which is fantastic. So available this month is this incredible Cityscape die. There are lovely buildings of different sizes and shapes, and tiny little windows that will have that extra detail. Just before I go back onto the die, actually, I'm just outlining the sunburst with a grey fine line pen. And I love this effect because it just adds that level of detail and finish, I think, to stenciling. And I'm ready to stick down, so miracles never cease. I am the world's slowest scrapper normally, but I love it when you've got something and it just comes together quickly or easily, shall we say. Normally I stress for hours about a layout. So I've cut 2 each of the pink, a blue and green Cityscape. And I'm just going to add a little bit of ink over those just for a little bit more texture and definition. And I'm going to be joining those together. And then I'm going to do the same with the blue. And the blue one, actually, I've used the reverse side, which has a lovely subtle diagonal stripe, a kind of a tone on tone. And I just thought that will just stand out a little bit more between the layers. And again, I'm just adding a little bit more ink just to give a bit of definition. Now for the dies, you can punch out or just poke out the little tiny holes for the windows and detail. I left mine in actually because I liked the way they looked, so that you could still see the detail, as you can see there, but they weren't see-through. So I don't know, it's personal choice, I suppose. But I'm going to glue them down, so some of them might fall out and some might stick. And that's all right with me. Now, I didn't stick right to the top edges because having been through my die machine, I found that the cardstock kind of curled slightly, and so they were just pulling away slightly from the top. And I like that because you get a little bit of shadow behind to give it a little bit of dimension without having to use foam tape. Because I didn't want to use foam tape on this, I just kind of wanted to create a flat border. So I've just offset them slightly, because obviously they're all the same shape, but to see the houses and the buildings behind, they do need to be offset from one another. Now, my favourite type of photos to scrapbook are 2 3x4s. I tend to put 2 photos on a 6x4 document before printing. And then that way I'm only using 1 print and actually getting 2 photos out of it. But it is my favourite kind of size to scrapbook as well. I do find having a little bit smaller gives me a little bit more creative leeway. Now look at those stunning foam and cardstock stickers that came with the embellishment kit this month. They are always my favourite when we receive them, because Kim and Kimberly come up with some fantastic titles, and they have a lot of colour and detail. So I tend to use those first out of my packages. And I'm going to place that wonder over the photo, but I do want some tags just to go below my photos. Again, just for somewhere to add some extra die cuts and stickers. So I've just cut myself out a piece of the cardstock. I'm going to turn that into a tag. And I've actually got a couple of punches that make life easier for me. But equally, we have got dies, to be fair, that have been in the hit kit before, which are absolutely brilliant. But it would just save me getting my die cutting machine out. So I must remember to put things in the right order. I always tend to work from the top, and really I need to work from the bottom, obviously. So I'm just going to lay a couple of die tags there, sorry. And I do like to rough up the edges if I can. So let me just go through the kits this month. In the main kit, you'll find there are, apart from the fantastic pattern papers, we've got a lovely set of alphas, some chipboard frames, die cuts, as well as rub-ons, which I'll be using in a moment. As I say, these title foam stickers are in the embellishment kit this month. And remember, if you have the main kit or the Pocket Life kit, you can have an add-on kit and take 15% off. And of course, those are optional each month, so you're not committed to those. So they are really good value for money. There are also these fantastic silvery puffy stickers in this month's embellishment kit. And I love the icons on this set of stickers. There are, of course, lots of them in there, but I completely fell in love with the chevrons and arrows that you'll find on this sheet. So they will definitely be making an appearance on other layouts. So I just like to build a title and add more detail. So I'm going to put those chevrons, and I'm going to do a bit of stamping a bit later on. So here are those fantastic rub-on sheets. Oh my goodness, look at those. They are just amazing. Now, my only regret is because they are super easy to come off, that I should have cut out the bit that I wanted. But I used the lollipop stick that's included in the sheet, and then managed to mess up one of the letters. I think it was the letter K from that title. So completely ruined it. And to be fair, I could have left the title there, but I think it would just look a little bit out of place. So I didn't go with the title. But I love that kind of outline over the background paper. So, and I love the thing about rub-ons is that you can obviously overlay them over one another. So just trying to make up for my mistake there. So as I mentioned previously, you can take 15% on any add-on kit, which is incredible. And subscribers also get a chance to download any cut files they want from the cut file library. And there are absolutely hundreds to choose from. So all subscribers have access to the full library. And the library has been going for many years. I actually been and checked just how many, but they are there for everybody to enjoy. So that's a really great resource to enhance your kits and extend your scrapbooking. So if you'd like to find out more or subscribe to the kits, then you can just head off to the website, and I'll leave all the links below to this month's kit. So that almost wraps things up. I do end up doing a few little things off camera, as I always do. So I've threaded some twine through and added a few more little elements from the kit. There's that stamping under my title, and that is using the Pocket Life stamp, which is available separately. And I've also added some splatters to that sunburst, and that is using Anchors Away, which comes with the colour kit this month. And I love that extra detail that splattering has added to that area. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this process, and I'm really inspired to use that city dye too with the sunburst. And I would hope you share your layouts with us in our Facebook group. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Take care now. Bye.